Good morning, everyone. It's close to good afternoon, but wonderful to see you all here today. Thank you, parents, students, teachers who have gathered together with one shared purpose to look ahead at the exciting possibilities. And I love saying this, the endless possibilities that await our children, because the world is so very, very different now. Very warm welcome to our students and parents of class 11 and 12 from Sherwood. My name is Anuj Gurwara. I'm doing my best to shoulder the responsibility of leading our schools after the passing of our beloved founder director, Mr. Y.K. Gurwara. His vision continues to inspire us with everything we do to nurture young people who not only achieve but also understand themselves, care for each other, and lead with integrity and professionalism. We're joined today by our principal, Ms. Papia Chaudhary, and our teachers who continue to serve with deep dedication and passion, shaping the lives and minds of our students every single day. Together, of course, we're guided by the same belief that education is about nurturing the individual potential of the child to the very best of their abilities. We're truly delighted today to bring to you this career counseling webinar. Before we begin, a few quick notes to make sure that the session is smooth for everybody. First, of course, please keep your microphones mute throughout the session. You can keep your camera on if you wish. We would love to see the faces that we're talking to, but if it's completely optional for you. If you have questions, please type them in the chat box after the session begins. Our team will collect them and share them with the speakers, and we'll have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. And in case you face any technical issues, just message us privately and on the chat, and we will try and help you right away. I hope I'm audible and visible clearly. So to introduce the session to you today, we've organized this webinar to introduce Lodestar. It's a well-known career guidance organization, quite renowned from Bengaluru, who have guided over 60,000 students from more than 300 schools across India, helping families make career and education decisions in a scientific, structured, and a practical way. Of course, a few thoughts before we begin is, from our experience as a school of 41 years, we all want our children to succeed, to be secure, to have a good life. Essentially, that's essentially what we want. We want them to have a good life. And for many of us, career decisions used to be very simple: doctor, engineer, lawyer, or a government job. That was the reality up until a few years ago. The pandemic changed all of it even more. And advancements in science and technology and the internet and awareness of the world have opened up doors like never before. Earlier, our career decisions were made out of habit. There was family tradition, or some uncles and aunties advising us, or family friends, and whatever seemed more practical and affordable. Today, the world is far more dynamic. There are careers today in artificial intelligence, in sports management, in neuroscience, design, data, sustainability, psychology. Terms and fields that did not even exist a decade ago are all an emerging reality and will continue to evolve as we go forward into the future. The choices that we make now, and when I say we, the students, the teachers, and the parents, that we make now in subjects, courses, and colleges can influence not just what you do, but literally who you become. So for our young people, the question is no longer what career should I pick? The question is, what kind of life do I want to build? And in the words of the legendary Steve Jobs, of course, the founder of Apple and one of the greatest innovators in modern history, he said your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be satisfied with what you do is to believe that you are doing great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. That's the only way to do it. Career planning today is more about self-discovery, aligning one's interests, talents, and values with opportunities that bring out the best in the individual. It's about helping your child find what they enjoy, what they are good at, and where their personality fits best. As long as these criteria come together, success will naturally follow, because that alignment, when it happens, joy, happiness happens, and success comes immediately after it. So at Sherwood, of course, we believe education should not just prepare children for exams, but for life. And that means helping them discover who they are, not just what they can memorize and give an output in the exams and shut shop over there. Lodestar's approach aligns with that vision. It's structured, it's research based, and it helps both students and parents make decisions with clarity and confidence. So, for our ISC students, this is the time to make plans that will shape the next decade of their lives. From subjects and exams to college courses and professional paths, all of this is going to be decided now. So this session is hopefully going to help you guide you through that process, and so you can make informed choices and not rushed or random ones with limited information. So let's dive into it. Let's move beyond the old belief that only a few professions can lead to success. The truth is, the world needs every kind of thinker, creator, builder, dreamer, and we are helping you create that foundation for the future. So let's begin with this journey of discovery together. I would like to invite the experts from Lodestar Career Guidance. We have with us Mr. Murli and Ms. Ramya. And Ms. Ramya is going to take over the session now. So over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anuj. Very glad to be here. Thank you, parents, for joining us today. It's really good to see the participation on a Saturday morning. Just give me a minute. I will just share my screen and we'll get started off. So you guys are actually in class 11 and 12, right? Can I know how many parents are here? Parents, can you just please put a hi message in the chat box so that we have an idea of how many parents are there and how many students are there? And my understanding is that, there are students from both science and commerce backgrounds out there. So can I get a sense of how many science students are there and how many commerce students are there? If you're from the science background, please type in science. If you're from the commerce background, you can type in commerce. Okay, have a good mix till now. Okay, good to see this mix of students. Hopefully, I will be able to do justice to both the groups of parents and students that are here. We are always open for questions, and you can always reach out to us at any point of time. If you have any questions or any doubts, or you want to just talk, that is also fine. So please do reach out to us, and we're happy to spend time with the parents and the students. This is a very, very important phase, very, very crucial phase in the lives of the parents and the students. Sometimes, I joke that it feels like parents are going to write the board exam because they are so stressed and they are so worried about the marks and everything. So sometimes it feels like the parents are the one who are going to write the board exams. So yeah, let's get started without spending too much of time more. Second. Yes. So just a quick introduction about Lodestar. Our management team has a lot of experience in education, entrepreneurship, technology, assessments in the space. I'm joined here today by our CEO, Mr. Murlidhar. He's also there in the call. We have worked with more than 60,000 students, and we've helped them to make a scientific decision in a scientific way to decide, in a proper manner, what is right for them. Okay, not just randomly, not just what their friends are doing, not just what they've been told by their parents. So it's not that, but they've thought through things, they've analyzed what is right for them, and they've actually gone ahead and made the decision. So we have worked with more than 300 schools across the country. You can see all the top names here. We continue to work with many of them on an individual basis as well, continue to work with many of them on a school basis as well. Both the modes of operations are there. So today's webinar, we will be covering these important topics. This is going to be the topic of discussion in today's webinar. First, we are going to start off with the need for scientific career planning. That means, see, we have to decide whether scientific career planning is important or not in the first place, right? When we were young, we never had any such thing. But we all kind of turned out okay. So what is the need for the scientific career planning now for this generation of kids? We'll touch upon some unique courses and colleges, and we'll go through the structure of the Lodestar program finally at the end for a few minutes, and then I'll open up for questions. I would definitely love for you to guys think and have your questions ready, because definitely the value of this webinar is more about when you get your questions answered. So I would like to keep the Q&A part open for a longer period of time, and I will talk for maybe a lesser period of time. So please think about your questions and keep it ready, and I'll be happy to answer them towards the end of the program. So why career guidance? So let's talk a little bit about how the world is very different today. So if your child had, for example, if your child has a dream of working for the top tech companies, maybe when your child was in 7th, 8th standard, you would have told them, boss, put away all your crayons and color pencils and all of those things. Start focusing on physics and math, because that's the only way you can get into a top tech company. But today there are roles like UX designer, where the focus is more on designing, creativity, those kind of things, and not just the science and math aspect of things. So you have careers like UX designer who work understanding the psychology, understanding how to design an app, understanding how to actually track the flow of a customer through the app, where UX stands for user experience, how a user sees and experiences an app or a website, how easy it is for them to use it. So it involves a lot of psychology, logical thinking, designing. These are the areas of strength that they need to have, and they can work for the top tech companies. Now you can do a design course from IIT itself, and you don't even have to write JEE, and you can be from any background. So people who are in the commerce background, who are creative, who kind of want to get into a design kind of career, you have an opportunity to study in IITs, which was not there earlier, right? So there are many different careers like this available for students. Similar thing with sports marketing. So if you look at sports, people used to think that playing is the only option, but today it is not like that. So playing, and there are a whole lot of roles around the players, in the sporting ecosystem itself. So like if you take a tournament like IPL, there are so many people working on it, starting from the people who are managing the events, starting from the people who are talking about marketing the events, the broadcasting, the media, the advertising. There are so many, and not even talking about the team or the player management, right? So there are so many physios that are needed, so many, sports analysts. How do they decide how much to bid on each player? Sports analysts. So all these are actually roles in the sporting ecosystem, which are available today, and there's a huge demand for this. Let me also give you another example in terms of how the colleges or the courses are still catching up with this. So IIM Rohtak recently, a few years back, they came up with an executive PG diploma specifically for sports management. So there is a demand. There are not enough talented people. They need people who have an interest in sports, but also need the managerial skills, right? So these kind of roles are actually coming up, and they are growing at a very fast pace. And we may not even know about these roles, because nobody in our social circle has opted for these roles. So how do parents or students come to know about these roles? That is where people like us come into the picture, where we guide you and educate you on what kind of new careers also are out there. Okay, if you don't even know that UX designer as a career exists, how are you even going to aim for it, right? So that's why it's important to understand what is the change, what is the new things that are coming up, and how different it is actually as compared to maybe what was there all along, right? So specifically, like this may be at a broader level, the world is changing, new things are coming up, you need to know about those things. Okay, so that's at a macro level. At a personalized level, a lot of parents and students are actually struggling. They may have like specific issues. We keep speaking to the parents, throughout the day. Every day I speak to at least 4 or 5 parents, and we find some common thoughts that the parents bring up over and over again, common issues that a lot of parents and students are facing. Like, for example, students don't know what kind of degree to opt for, right? That's one big confusion. My child is already in 11th and 12th. He or she is preparing for something, but we don't know whether that's the right choice for them. What kind of degree to take up? Which are the top colleges? I don't know what my child likes. So yesterday, I had a parent who came and said, "Ma'am, let my daughter write all the entrance exams, right? Let her write medical, let her write engineering, let her write law, let her write," because they don't know what is it that will interest their child, right? So that is no way to make a decision. That is not that. That's just slightly better than putting inky pinky ponky and picking something. That's literally what they are doing. So you have to understand your child's interest. You have to understand what is it that they like, and then take a decision accordingly. Sometimes we also have parents in class 11 and 12 where the child has committed to, let's say, a coaching, preparing for NEET, preparing for engineering. The child starts off with full josh, but somewhere along the way, they kind of start underperforming. They start not doing well in the weekly tests. So the child is having second thoughts, doubts, whether this is the right choice. Am I on the right path? So the child it's not motivated to perform. They are underperforming. This is a very, very big problem with class 11 and 12 students. Right? So they're getting second thoughts or they're having doubts. That's a very important point. And there may be some parents who say, okay, I just want to systematically understand. We've made some first set of decisions in terms of the stream, subjects, but beyond this, I want to actually make a good decision. I want to think, I want to understand, and I want to plan my child's career. Right? So all these are reasons why parents talk to us. They reach out to us, they interact with us, and they understand what they need to take, next steps that they need to take in terms of what they should be doing. Let me give you an example. Like I was mentioning earlier, people who take science primarily are sitting in one of these two coaching classes. Either they're preparing for JEE or MSET or BITS or whatever is the entrance exam that they are aiming for in terms of engineering, or they're sitting in the NEET, which is the pathway for medical, which is okay if you want to get into either of these career choices. If you want to get into engineering or you want to get into medical, then these are your options. But how about if you want to look at any of the other pathways? For example, there is a ICER aptitude test, which is the pathway to get into IISc, or which is the pathway to get into ICERs. ICERs are the top colleges in India when it comes to research. What IITs are to technology, ICERs are to research. So ICERs are a set of colleges that your child should be aware of. An ICER aptitude test is something that they should prepare for. How about for statistics or data science? Indian Statistical Institute has their own entrance exam called as Tomato, Test of Mathematics at 10+2 level. That's the full form of the test. But that is the test that they need to actually write and prepare for. So here there is no physics and chemistry at all. It's just out and out math. But the math is so deep that you need Olympiad level preparation for it. So there is no point in sitting in a JEE prep class hoping to get into ISI. You need separate tutoring for this, where you can actually prepare for the exam and just focus on mathematics alone. Right? Similarly, if you want to get into architecture or design, then NATA or UCEED is the exam that you should be aiming for. How about if you have taken commerce? Okay, again, though gone are the days when people used to think that, CA or MBA are the only two choices that are possible for students who have picked commerce. any of these career choices, right? For if you want to become a company secretary, there is a pathway for you to do it after class 12. If you want to get into actuarial sciences, if you want to become an actuary, then there's a pathway after class 12, right? Even commerce students can write the tomato exam. You can aim for the ISI exam. So if you're good at math, but you don't like physics or chemistry, then this is something that you can actually aim for. Even commerce students can aim for these exams, right? So understand the career option and then decide the pathway. Okay, for if you're in commerce or science and you either of these options, like you don't have to necessarily take up economics, humanities to get into these streams. So if you've actually picked up science but you're preparing for CLAT without understanding what the pathway should be, what are the career options that it leads to, right? You should know that apart from these two, apart from law and design, there's a whole lot of options available for you as such. For example, if you like languages, then there's an English and Foreign Languages University in Hyderabad itself, right? How many of you know about this particular college? It's a really, really great college. University of Hyderabad. The entrance mechanism for these two colleges is through a separate exam called CUET. Okay, that is the exam that you need to write. So if you're just preparing for CLAT, for CA, and you're missing out on writing CUET, then that's not a good option. You will be missing out on those career choices. Okay, we should also understand the reality of the competition in India, right? NEET, 18 lakh students write it. And how many medical seats are there? About 1.2 lakh medical seats are there, of which only 55,000 are the low fee seats, which is the government seats. Now, this is adding everything, all quotas, all reservations, everything together. If you add, this is the number of seats. Okay. Now, in JEE, right, similarly, about 18 lakh students write JEE main as well. Only the top 2.5 lakh students qualify for JEE Advanced, right? Now, just let that sink in. If you have to be 18, you have to compete with 18 lakh students and be in the top 2.5 lakhs. And it is not that your struggle ends there. Out of 2.5 lakhs, there are only 15,000 IIT seats or 18,000 IIT seats, right? So just look at the competition involved. So I like to tell the children, if you want to get into IIT, you have to be incredibly hardworking, incredibly intelligent, and incredibly lucky also. It is, I'll just like to share one small anecdote at this time, right? NASA for interplanetary travel calculates digits up to 14 decimal digits. Calculates for calculations uses 14 decimal digits. And India to calculate JEE rank use 7 decimal digits. Imagine 7 decimal digits just to get admission into a college, right? It is 79. Let's say your score is like 79, 79.1234567, right? That's the number of decimal digits that they're going to consider while coming up with your JEE rank. So this is the case with other streams, other exams as well. The integrated MBA courses offered by IIMs today, right? There are about 750 or 1,000 seats and 25,000-30,000 students are appearing for the entrance exam. CLAT, there are about 3,000 seats and there are about 80,000 to 1 lakh students appearing for the CLAT entrance exam. So the point is, for whichever field, whichever stream, it is actually you have to be in the top 1 to 2% of the crowd to be able to get into a premier college. It doesn't matter which stream, which entrance exam, which course. If you want to get into a premier college and study, then you have to be in the top 1% of this. So can you do CA Foundation and JEE and UC? It's not possible. So you have to pick one entrance exam to focus on and do really, really well in that to even stand a chance of getting it. So how do we choose? Which is the entrance exam that we should be preparing for? How do we choose correctly? So I'd like to start this section with an important question. Okay, all of you have opted for science or commerce on some basis in class 11 and 12, right? How are you going to decide what to do next? How many of you here think that you should decide on a career choice How many of you think that your next big decision is your college? If you think you should decide on a career choice, then please type in career in the chat box. If you think that college decision is the most important decision that you will be taking, then please type in like college in the chat box. Okay, I'm seeing a few responses here. I would really request the other students also to respond for this. How many of you think that career is the first thing that you should decide? How many of you think that the course or college is the first thing that you should decide? It's been like a mixed response. Some of you are saying career, some of you are saying college. Yes. Nice. Okay, so big chunk of you are saying career, and you are right. Okay, why is it important to decide on a career choice first? Because let's say on any journey, wherever you go, if you choose to go on a holiday, the first thing that you will decide is where to go. You will decide on your destination. If you're going to Goa, you won't take your big sweaters and go. If you're going to Shimla, you won't take your shorts and go, right? So what will you see, how you pack, what kind of journey you will take, all of that will depend on the destination. Similarly, in your career goal, right? The first decision that you need to make is your destination, right? If you don't know what destination you want to go towards, then you will not know what the next step should be. Which direction should you put a next step? So you should always decide on a career goal first and then work backwards to understand what your education pathway should be. This is something that we truly believe in, because many parents, this is a little counterintuitive. That means we are used to a certain way of thinking. We are used to saying, first let us decide what to do in 11th and 12th, then we will decide what college, then we will decide what job. That's not the right way of making a decision. It should be the other way around. Decide on your goal, figure out your education pathway next. But there's also one more important piece of the puzzle which is missing, right? Once you understand, before you can even make these decisions, start to think about all of this, there's one important point that you need to understand. You have to know and understand about yourself. Okay, this is very, very, very important. I cannot just stress this enough. Every day we hear news about so many thousands and thousands of software engineers being laid off, right? Why do you think that is happening? Software was a very, very stable industry for the last 20, 25 years. Then this is just not happening in India. This is around the world. People are getting laid off. People are losing their jobs. Why do you think that is happening? Because of technological changes, because of changes brought about by AI. So if there is no such thing as a safe job anymore, how do you decide? So earlier, if you see architects, 10 architects were needed. When drawings used to be done manually. But because all the drawings now are done in the system, they need only 4 architects. Who are those 4 architects? Who are the 4 people that are actually having a successful career in architecture when the rest of the people are finding it even difficult to get a placement? It is those people who love architecture. It is those people who know what the career is about and they know that this is what they want to do. If you are good at doing something, then you will have a career out of it. So you have to know and understand about yourself before you make any of these decisions. That is very, very important. That's like the foundational thing. That is the basic thing. So when we say know and understand about yourself, what exactly should you know and understand? There are 3 elements. One is your personality, one is your interest, and one is your aptitude. These 3 have to be in sync or balanced for it to be a right career choice for you. Right? So when I say personality, what do I mean by it? It is what kind of a person you are, what kind of a nature do you have. Okay. Second is your interest. What kind of things do you like to do? And the third is aptitude. What is it that you are good at? Okay. Don't get us wrong. We're not saying that studies are not important or entrance exams are not important. After all, at the end of the day, you have to crack certain entrance exams if you want to get into certain careers. but you should also understand whether that is in line with your personality and interest. Your academic aptitude forms part of your overall aptitude. Let me give you an example. Sometimes parents come to us and say, my son is very good at physics and math. I think he should become an astrophysicist. Okay. If you look at the child, he or she will be a very bubbly, outgoing, very extroverted character, right? They will be very impatient. They will want quick results. Can such a person, thrive and grow in a career like astrophysics? Is that possible? Astrophysics is a research-oriented career where things happen very slowly. They happen over a long period of time. And you have to be patient and persistent. These are two important qualities for an astrophysicist. Now, if you don't have that patience, persistence, ability to read through things and keep working on things over a long period of time without expecting immediate results, then research as a career will not be a good fit for you. So it's just not about being good at subjects. You have to understand about yourself, your personality, your interest, aptitude. All these three things you have to understand to make a good career choice. It's just not all about the marks, and subject does not always equal to a career choice. Something that very, very important that parents and students have to keep in mind. So let me just quickly summarize this section. Right? First, the world is changing. We understand that many new age careers have come up, even in the finance field. The AI is impacting a lot of things. There is robotic process automation that has happened, where the work that people used to sit and do financial oriented work, now it has become automated. So then there are many new ages, many new careers that have come up, and you have to understand about them. Second, the steps that you need to take should be based on the goals and not just random steps that you take. Career decision has a huge impact on what stream you have picked. So that you already decided on a certain stream now, but the next decisions that you take, actually you have to think about it carefully and do it. And parents, please know your child's personality, interest, aptitude before making a certain decision. So let us look at some of the world of options now. So I will be covering both science careers as well as commerce and humanities careers. People who have picked commerce, you can kind of ignore the science careers that may not be very suitable for you. But I will just cover all these choices together. Okay. So let's say for students who like science and math and are keen on engineering, you have so many different choices of engineering, right? People who here are preparing for JEE or preparing for MSET or preparing for any other BITS Pilani exam, all of these things, one thing that you need to understand that engineering is not one course. It is 33 different courses. Okay. So there are many, the engineering areas, and many of them are very different from each other. For example, computer science is very different from mechatronics, which is different from aerospace, which is different from biotechnology, which is different from naval architecture, right? So it is important to understand about these types of engineering as well. Why is it important to understand this? Let's say that you're preparing for IIT, you crack JEE, you write JEE advanced, you do well there also. But unfortunately for your rank, you're only getting agricultural engineering and IIT Kharagpur. Should you take it, or should you move to a lower ranked college, but which offers you a branch that you want to study? It is very difficult to think logically about this, because you would have put in so much of effort over the 2 years to even crack JEE advanced, and finally you end up with a course choice like this. Right? So think about this now and keep your options open so that you can take a informed decision when you are in that stage. Now, computer science, there is while it looks like there's a lot of uncertainty with AI taking over and things like that, what traditionally has happened is AI or any new technology has always created new rules. So while we may not have software engineering in the traditional sense, or a big chunk of the software engineering jobs may not exist, maybe 5 or 10 years down the line, there are a whole other set of roles that may come up, which actually still have a base in computer science engineering. So understand the field and be interested in the field, and don't just look at, am I going to get a big pay package? Today, there is no such thing as a safe job. Let me repeat that again. There is no such thing as a safe pathway. You have to be interested in that. You have to be willing to put in a lot of effort in that. Only then you can be successful. AI, ML, lots of new exciting things happening. Aerospace, aeronautical, avionics, all of these are related. And aerospace, has a huge potential across the world and in India specifically. Similarly, with robotics, automobile was a sleepy field. It was dead for 15 years. No new developments happened. Nowadays, with the electric vehicles coming in, the field has suddenly woken up, and green energy has become such an important part of every course. Similarly, chemistry related engineering courses, the biotechnology, metallurgy, material science, all of these have actually gotten a lot of importance. Then there are some very offbeat engineering courses like paper technology or naval architecture. These are also very, very interesting fields. Ceramic engineering, this is one of the oldest courses offered by IITs. Ceramic engineering is very, very important for the semiconductor industry. Okay, so it's important to understand that. For career pathways for students who like science, which are related to math, but not engineering. Right? You have your pure science, you have architecture, you have design, right? Product design is like a big, big area. UX design is a big, big area. Game design is a big, big area. All of these are important areas of roles in the future. In the pure science, I would like to just touch upon bioinformatics and biostatistics. Bioinformatics is combination of biology and computer science that's using technology to solve biological problems. That is what bioinformatics is about. Biostatistics is more about data science in the field of healthcare, which is like the base for AI in the field of healthcare. So biostatistics is also like a growing subject, important subject. Then there are some specialized roles like your armed forces, air traffic controller. Aviation industry is growing a lot in India. Every tier 2, tier 3 city is going to have an airport now. So there's going to be a huge demand for these kind of roles, aviation management roles, as well as roles like air traffic controller. And then you have your traditional management roles related to which you can pursue from a science background as well. How about for students who like biology? You all are aware of the doctor, dentist, surgeon, these pathways, but a whole new allied field of health is coming up. Okay, what is happening in India is, considering the Indian population, we just don't have enough doctors. And unfortunately, there is no way we can increase the medical seats as well. So what hospitals are doing is they are actually hiring technical people, okay, like speech therapist or an audiologist or a radiation therapist. These are technical roles that will help the doctors, okay, do their roles well. They are supportive roles. They will work with the doctors closely. They will be working in the hospitals and they will be working with the patients. Okay, but you don't need an MBBS to do this particular role. You need a specialized technical degree to be able to do this role. Pure science roles are in the field of, there are lab-based roles and there are field-based roles as well. Lab-based roles are like biochemists, geneticists, microbiologists, these kind of roles. Field-based roles are like, more where you are actually out in the field trying to track the animals or work with animals or work with marine life and things like that. Then management related roles. Hospital administration is like a really, really big thing. Very, very important role. That is also like, having a lot of scope. Hospital management, hospital administration, all these are important roles. For commerce students, you would think that, there are core roles, finance, there are markets, and there are others. This is how we're trying to classify this. Now, core roles like accounting, audit, taxation, all of them are undergoing a big change in the way they are being done, in the way they are actually, these roles are actually going to look like in the future. Okay. When I was young, so I'm a chartered accountant. So when I was young and when I started off, went for my first day of articleship, the thing that they told me, they gave me also huge telephone directory and told me to add all the numbers. For an auditor or an accountant at that point of time, the most important skill that you could have was the ability to add a lot of numbers accurately without mistakes. But today that skill is completely useless. When nobody does manual accounting anymore, everything is system driven. So similar thing is happening now again with the advent of AI. Lot of process is getting automated. Like I was talking earlier, robotic process automation is like a big field. Similarly in finance, like investment banking, funding, management consulting, all of them are undergoing a lot of change because of the data and because of the analytics field. The kind of the detailing of the analytics that is possible and the kind of pattern identification that is possible, it is something that is amazing. Insurance and risk management, India is one of the most underinsured markets in the world. So there's a huge scope for further growth of the insurance industry. Economics is a very versatile subject. It can be a science related subject, it can be like a commerce related subject or a humanities related subject, depending on your interest in that. And then there are like some other roles like government, academics, analytics, right? BPO related roles or KPO related roles. There's a lot of work that happens, back end work that happens in India. There is a huge potential for all these roles. Humanities, there is, design, visual arts, hospitality, communication and film broadcast, journalism, performing arts, psychology, society, law, public safety. So you see there are so many options available. Economics, education, sports, all of these have multiple roles under them. So these are all different areas. Usually the question that parents ask is, what will my child do after taking humanities? Or what will they do after studying humanities, right? So there are so many options available, and all these options are open to you guys also as of now. So there's no restriction that you have to be from a humanities background. You can still get into all of these roles if you understand what the roles are about. Psychology, one of the newest areas that is coming up around the world is that of a behavioral economist. Behavioral economics combines psychology, economics, and marketing. And there is no good undergraduate degree in India for behavioral economics. People either study economics, usually economics at the undergraduate level, then go on to either a London School of Economics or a UPenn to study behavioral economics. It's only available in top colleges around the world that students opt for this. Okay, in India, we still don't even have courses for that particular career in our country, at least, good colleges. So you understand that there are so many different options now. I will just quickly touch upon what we do at 11th and 12th level. And then, I can open up for questions and I'll be happy to take questions from you guys. So at our core, our core is a test that students take. Okay. The test identifies the student's vocational personality, aptitude, generated report that you get. Then we actually do a sit and talk with the students and the parents to understand what their aspirations are, which subject they like, what kind of hobbies they have, and things like that. And we combine all of these things and help you to arrive at a decision. So the report itself will have these things, your test results, like your occasional personality test. It is a three-letter combination of codes that you will get that talks about what kind of things you like, what kind of activities you will like to do, and things like that. Then your aptitude test result. Then the top 5 career choices will come as a recommendation. And top 5 career choices, since this the most suitable stream after 10th, you've already picked that. The entrance exams and the recommended careers will come. And finally, occupation report for the top 2 career choices will show up. So one-on-one counseling, you will get 1 hour of a discussion with an expert counselor. We have a big team of experienced counselors with whom you will be allocated a session. You will get an explanation of the results, the report, how to read the report, how to understand the report, what does the report actually mean. Then you have a decision on the careers and the courses. You talk about the colleges, entrance exams, all of these things. Right, so we help you to finalize on a career choice, and then we'll help you to figure out what the degree, entrance exam, and colleges should be. Right, so this is the final decision that you will be able to make at the end of the program. So this program typically retails for about 4,000 rupees. Now we are actually giving it for about 2,500, inclusive of the taxes for parents of Sherwood High. It's the sign up process is very easy. You can just scan and fill in the details, the student details, parent details, just fill it in, and somebody from our team will get back to you and help you to sign up for this particular program. Okay, so this is the process. This is the this is what I wanted to share today. So any questions, I'm happy to answer it. You can see the link for the form actually in the chat box. So please click on the form and register your interest. Somebody from our office will get back to you and talk to you and understand what is it that you want, and then suggest the appropriate program. All right. So please do share your interest in the form by filling it up, and we are happy to talk. Okay, so any questions or any doubts that you guys have, I'm more than happy to take this. You can maybe write down your questions in the chat window, and I can actually address it and help resolve it.
Thank you, Ms. Ramya. Wonderful, insightful session. Again, so much clarity for the students and the parents, of course, I hope. We will share the QR code and the form, the Google form links on WhatsApp shortly. We will do that so that you can sign up, and we will also share the contact details so that if there's any questions that you might have, you can get in touch with Lodestar. We will take in some questions right now. We have a few minutes. If you'd like to ask any questions, you can type it in the chat box, and we are happy to take those up. I just want to add a point that at Sherwood, of course, many of you have been associated with us for many years, and some of you in ISC have joined us from other schools in class 11 and have continued to class 12 as well. You are familiar and aware of our values. You're familiar and aware of our focus consistently on maximizing the child's potential. And it is a value that we found after extensive discussion that aligned with Lodestar's approach and their ideology as well. So, which is why we made the effort to have this webinar as a first in a session, in a series of sessions that we will continue later, that hopefully will help all of you get information, clarity, and much needed support in navigating this very complex world of careers and professions and streams and choices and all of those. So any questions at all, please type them in the chat bot, and we're happy to take them up. And these are, of course, class 11 and 12 students who have chosen their stream who have chosen accounts, commerce, or science. Some of them have taken mass comm as a subject as well. And we are hoping to introduce a lot more subjects going forward. But right now, for class 11 and 12 students, for the future that lies ahead of you. We have a question. Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm studying in 12th grade. I've decided to join Loyola College and wanted to uh, pursue entrepreneurship or hotel management. Could you give us some input regarding these courses?
So what happens is I will not talk about the college as such. Okay, I will just talk about the entrepreneurship and the hotel management courses and the kind of careers that they can lead up to. Right, entrepreneurship is going to be one very, very important part of the societal growth in the coming years. Okay. To be very honest, we have so many graduates passing out of the colleges every year, and not everybody gets a job. So, what are these people to do? Does it mean that they don't have talent? Does that mean that they don't have intelligence? Absolutely not. It is just that maybe for whatever reason they were not able to get a placement. But if you look at these students, they will make extremely good entrepreneurs. Okay, and entrepreneurship is much tougher than going to doing a 9 to 5 job. You have to be truly passionate about what you want to actually become an entrepreneur in. Hotel management by itself is a great field to be in, okay, because a lot of people are traveling, a lot of people, the travel and tourism industry has very good scope going forward. Just not maybe entry-level jobs alone, but all levels of jobs. So do you know that a lot of people take these Disney cruises every year? So there is a huge demand for Indian chefs on the Disney cruise ships. Okay, so that's the last place that you will think that Indian cooks or Indian food people will be interested in it. But no, because of the growing population and people taking up, holidays everywhere. Hotels in Switzerland are looking for Indian chefs. Okay, people with knowledge of how to cook Indian food, good food, because they're all actually 5-star hotels. But a lot of Indians are going there on holidays and they want people from those fields. So hotel management also is a fantastic field. What you need to understand, Nivedita, is I hope I got the student's name right. Yeah, Nivedita, right? See what will fit you. What is that you will like doing over a long period of time, and then take a decision on that. You can pass out from the best college, but if you are the last kid in the class, then you're not going to get placements. Correct? So understand, it is just not about the college, it is about what you want to do and what you would like to do. Focus on that, get an understanding of that, and make a decision accordingly. And then I'm sure that you will work out, it will work out great for you.
And there are so many factors that play into creating a career or a life that you want to build for yourself. It is, I would like to ask, Ramya or Murli, when was the last time you were asked how many marks you got in your college or your school? When was the last time you were asked? I'm not saying that they're not important. Academic excellence is absolutely prime, absolutely important. Marks are very important for that short term goal. But when was the last time you were asked how many marks you got?
Probably for my first job interview.
Yeah.
Is the only place where the marks actually played a role.
Yeah.
Right. Beyond that, it was more of what experience, what I did in that particular roles, what skills I've developed, what skills I've learned. That matters more. Right.
So,
Now,
Actually,
please. Go on.
yeah, I actually very similar. I think the first job or whatever. In fact, I did my MBA at an IIM, and in the IIM thing, they started the interview by saying that, okay, leave all your resume and all that. Tell us what do you like the most? And because I was an engineer, they said, you've been an engineer, so which subject? And honestly, I was not a very good engineer. Okay, I was an average engineer. I had not got great marks. But they asked me that you've studied that 4 years. So what do you like there? So basically, I think they also want to know whatever you like, are you good at that?
Hmm.
And in career today also it's becoming like that. Whatever you claim to be A, B, or C, whatever a skill. Are you good at that? That's what is very, very important. That's the point Ramya was trying to make. If you're the bottom half of the class, in any class, even if in IIT, if you're in the bottom half, you're not going to get a good job.
Hmm.
That's for guarantee, right? You got to be good at what you are.
Yeah.
So that's the
And
important thing.
identifying that is key. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
and
exactly.
academic excellence with marks, very important to get your foot in the door in the next stage of your academic journey. The college that you want to go to, the scholarship you want to apply for, the university you want to get into, maybe your first job as well. But once that stage, that short few years ka stage is crossed, then it depends on how what your temperament is, what your personality build-up is. How are you able to work with a team? Are you able to coordinate? Are you reliable? Are you punctual? Do you have a discipline about what you do? Do you have sensitivity, empathy? All of these factors come in. And identifying that at an early stage combined with your academic prowess is very crucial to identify what pathway you want to walk on ahead. We have a question here from
Yeah, I think there are a few
Vishishta.
questions, right? In
Yes.
terms of, so I would just like to combine these things. Okay,
Yes,
one
please.
person has asked, what is a good way to build a professional network while I'm still in school? Then couple of them, one person has asked, what's the best skill to pursue for students of our age? And somebody else has asked, do really marks matter or is it the skills make up for it, right? So, see, the answer to this is it's not that the marks are not important. Definitely, the marks are important, like we've been talking about all this time. But it is also important to develop certain skills side by side. Okay. Now, these skills need not directly map to a career choice, right? While it is possible, you can take an entrepreneurship workshop to understand, how entrepreneurship works. You can take a graphic design workshop to understand how graphic design works. So those are actually skill building things, right? Now, as a student who's like probably not aware of a lot of things, and you only have a limited time, like you already have so much of schoolwork, you already have so much of studies. So how will you choose what skill to develop or which area to take a workshop in, right? That's where understanding your vocational personality and what kind of careers are suitable for you makes a difference. So right now there are so many choices in front of you. Should I take a baking class? Should I go for chess class? Should I take a coding class? Or should I take like an entrepreneurship workshop? Like there are four different things in front of you, and all the four seem equally interesting, right? How are you going to pick? That's where the occasional personality part comes into the picture. And instead of wasting time trying multiple things, you can try out specific things that you're likely to enjoy, that you're likely to actually like, and you're making a informed choice about picking one and trying it out. Okay, no harm in trying out multiple things, but make sure that it is aligning with you somewhere, right? So if you're not a public speaker, if you don't like public speaking skills, don't aim to, let's say, get into a law camp or a law workshop, right? Because for that, somebody who's good at public speaking skills naturally will have a better chance of liking it, enjoying it than somebody who's an introverted person. You have to like get to a equal stage with others and then kind of like do well. So pick something that naturally aligns with you. And everybody has something that we are good at and something that we are bad at. Understanding what is it that you are good at and pick according to that. And I'm sure you'll really enjoy.
I like to use an example. I'm a gamer, and Call of Duty is something I love playing.
Oh,
And I
nice.
like to use this example of a machine gun versus a sniper. You can
Okay.
shoot hundreds of bullets, hoping that three or four will hit the target, or you can take some time, breathe, align your focus, and just shoot that one bullet that goes hits the target every single time.
Yeah.
So that focus, and both are okay. I mean, I'm somebody who's done multiple things in life, and I've explored a lot of my interests. But what I focused on really brought me the results and the rewards, and that was much more satisfying and meaningful. Someone has asked, I am interested in psychology. What are some upcoming or trending fields in psychology? Uh,
Yeah. And another person has also asked, how can I combine commerce with another field like psychology?
Very interesting.
Right? That's also a very good question. Both are extremely good questions. Psychology is a very, very interesting field. Let me tell you this, right? When we were young, psychology meant that you really didn't get admission anywhere else. So that's why you're picking psychology. Okay. Today, psychology courses are super competitive to get inside. It's not at all easy to get into the top colleges in psychology, if you really want to study psychology. Now, there are a few different career pathways possible for you. One can be like a proper, you can study psychology, you can go on to do a clinical psychology master's, you can practice as a clinical psychologist, practice as a therapist. That is one very, obvious pathway, if I can call it that. Second can be something related to a business environment, like maybe a HR, like maybe a marketing. Though there also psychology plays a very, very important role, right? Third, a newer area which is coming up is more something like digital marketing, right? In traditional marketing, you know where your customers are. You know who your customers are. Now, in current marketing, you don't know. Like you might be based out of India, your manufacturing might be happening in China, and your customer might be sitting in Dubai, right? So understanding the psychology of the customer becomes very, very important. So newer areas like digital marketing, like social media management, all of these also need a lot of psychology background. Last one, okay, one thing that you will not expect is where for data science, for AI, a lot of people are looking for psychology, people from a psychology background. Okay, this is again a newer area which is evolving and coming up because they need to make AI talk and converse like humans. They need to understand how psychology works. So they do recruit a lot of psychologists in that field also. That is also one which is an upcoming area in the future where psychologists can play a huge role. So these are some of the combinations of psychology plus jobs that I can think of, right? Right?
Yeah.
Somebody has asked, when should I start searching for an internship or a full-time job, and what's the best strategy for that? Okay, so I think full-time job is still a little bit far away. In India, you still need a formal degree to apply for many roles. Internship, however, on the other hand, is something that you can try out even starting now, right? Even in 11th and 12th, there are a lot of opportunities where you can sign up for different workshops. I'll give you an example. National Law University conducts a summer camp every year in May. That gives you an understanding of first year of law school looks like, right? Those kind of programs you can sign up. Laksha University has a young technology scholars program where you get a hands-on experience into robotics, autonomous systems, and things like that. So these kind of, I won't call it internship, but part-time programs, summer programs, they're available now. There's like a huge wealth of such programs available for students. If you reach out to us, we can share what specific one that you might be looking for. Full-time job, I would still say don't compromise on a degree, but along with your degree, focus on building skills. For example, see, now government has announced that students can pursue 2 undergraduate degrees simultaneously. Earlier, that was not allowed. So a lot of students are pursuing this BSc in data science degree offered by IIT Madras. It's an online course and you can be from any background to do it. Okay, you don't need to be from a computer science background. What they need you to do is go through a bridge course or a foundation course first. And if you clear that, you are into the course. It's a 3-year course that you can pursue along with your graduation. So even if you're doing BBA, you can still do this data science degree along with it. That adds an enormous value to your resume. So that is something that you should aim for and understand, right? So please keep that in mind. Okay, somebody has asked, can video editing be a good option as a commerce student? It can be a good option, okay, but video editing, you have to understand that video editing is very different from what you do as a hobby. Professional video editing is very different from what you do as a hobby. Any, like your holiday video, maybe you will be interested in editing it and making reels out of it. But how many times have you watched your parents' wedding videos? Somebody makes you sit through that for like 4 hours, 5 hours. I mean, I can't watch my wedding video now, right? So the point is, you should be able to watch boring videos like this and still, like, be able to cut, paste, identify what is the right place to cut, right? Video editor's job in a movie can make or break the movie completely. You might shoot a brilliant movie, but if the editing is not strong, editing is not good, then the movie is not going to work, right? So video editing involves sitting through hours and hours of videos for a long period of time. Think whether you will be able to do that. Think whether you will be able to watch the same videos over and over again. The answer is yes, then you can definitely give it a shot through a certificate course or a weekend course and then see how you like it.
If I can add to that, what's happening is when we speak to a lot of the students now, generally the common answer is I want to become a YouTuber or a creator because it is perceived as the cool thing to do, right? And you will watch, we all watch a lot of content, we consume a lot of content, and we all know that on the face of it, and I am a content creator myself, on the face of it, it's extremely cool and glamorous, and wow, money can be made and followers can be had. But what happens in a scientific structured process like this, what Lodestar is offering and what we are hoping to have the value add passed on to the students, is the flip side of whatever looks cool on the face. What are the challenges? What are the hardships? What are the sacrifices? If video editing, if there is an association with short term money that can be made, then maybe that might not be the right choice. But if editing videos, clips, and like Ramya said, repeatedly watching the same thing again and again, and finding that little thing that takes the story forward, if that excites you, maybe that is something. But you'll have to go through a whole process to understand whether you are interested in it for the short term or for the long term, keeping all perspectives in mind.
That's right.
Also, just want to add one thing here is that some of these careers like video editing or digital marketing, etc., can be done in a slightly informal way. You pick up some certification courses, you pick up some short-term things, and then you have a natural talent for it and you get to know. There's also another way where you do a proper formal course with in a very good institute. And that then catapults you to the top end of that career, right? Of that career. So you should keep that in mind also, because then those institutes then get you placements in some of the top, maybe a movie company or a production company or a global gaming company or whatever, right? So and that is something which as students you should aim for. Sometimes when students think of some of these careers, they are maybe not so good in their academics, so they're thinking of these alternate careers. And then they think that, okay, this is just something which I will pick up and I'll earn some money and I'll build some career locally. But honestly, even many of these careers could be global careers. Like a friend of mine, a classmate of mine from IIM, his son is a game designer and he works in Europe in game designing. Now I asked him that is he creative? He said no. He's limited creative, but he does the strategy of the game. So today, because gaming is so big, there are people who decide the strategy, the people who decide the visuals, the people who decide the storyline, and it's a complex work to design a game or to come out with the animation movie, right? So those roles are available now. Who would that guy employ? They will employ somebody who's gone to a top institute for that. So all these careers, just remember one thing: there is an IIT kind of an institute for that career. Okay, your goal should be talk to a career counselor, find out that, understand the entrance exam for that, and apply and get there. That should be your goal.
So there are lots of questions that have come in, and we have a paucity of time. Unfortunately, we'll have to sign off with the session. But in closing, I'd like to also say that we will share the contact details of Lodestar on WhatsApp. You can email them or contact them with your queries. And of course, with the QR code and the form, and maybe sign up for that initial what they have offered very generously for us, a very special price for us, and maybe that will really give you the clarity. And I'm quite sure that this service that they're doing for the larger student community, it's helped thousands of students, and I think this is something that we're very excited to introduce in Sherwood as well. So please contact them ahead. For the parents particularly, there are a couple of points that I would like to just shine the spotlight on. Is that we are in 2025. A lot of these students who are passing out in class 12 next year or this year are facing a 5 to 6, maybe 7 year academic journey ahead, depending on what they take up after this. Graduation, post graduation, lots of specializations. The pandemic brought about a very exponential advancement in technology and the way the world started looking at careers and success and professional trajectories. In the last 5 years, the way we have seen the world change because of technology and AI, the kind of professions that we didn't imagine could exist now exist, and there are more professions and occupations to come in. There are more new careers to be built. So we cannot possibly prepare them for 2030 or 2035 if we are operating with a mindset of 1995 or 2005 or even 2025. To prepare them for the future, we have to let go of our preconceived notions of what careers and professions should be based on what we have experienced it 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, or 40 years ago. That's the important distinction to make. And with the advancement in technology and the kind of options available for students, all you need literally is the internet and a device today. I'm not saying content creator, I'm saying anything can be created, any kind of profession, occupation can be created. People literally don't have to depend on a structure that said, we will create jobs and you will join us. Earlier, that was the reality. Tomorrow, anyone can literally do anything else provided they have the discipline, the temperament, the rigor, the aptitude, the capability, which we can identify through systematic tests like these. So please do sign up. And of course, thank you, Murli and Ramya. Thank you so much for your insights. We've had two wonderful sessions, one for class 10 and another for class 12. There's so much to think about and take away from this. Like I said, once again, we'll share the QR code, the Google form, and the contact details of Lodestar so students can get in touch with you and sign up. And career planning, once again, is not just about choosing a profession today. It is about discovering a direction that feels true to who we are. So, to all parents, thank you for being open to new ideas and walking this journey with your children. To all students, please remember that this stage of life is not about having everything figured out. It's okay to not having it all figured out. Asking the right questions, exploring your options with courage, and creating your own definition of success. And I don't say that in a philosophical way. I'm saying the avenues are available to us. You just have to be brave enough to ask the right questions and not expect to have everything figured out right now. It's perfectly okay to not know and keep exploring that path. Someone said the best way to predict your future is to create it. So go out there, you explore, learn, build a future that excites you. It challenges you. Think as big as you can. That's the idea. Think as big as you can and then make a pathway towards it based on what your individual potential is. So thank you once again, Lodestar. Thank you, parents, students, teachers. Thank you, principal, for joining us and believing in what we stand for at Sherwood. And let's hope that this was an extremely helpful session for all of you and continues to be so. So have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again in another session like this.